All right, so you should have out, before I move on from this slide, 1, 2, 6. The plan book, you don't need to change your plan book. But for the record, 1, 2, 7 was yesterday's homework until I shifted the week. So now 1, 2, 7 is on today, right, like it says up here. 1, 2, 8 will be on tomorrow, and we'll probably start Jenga tomorrow also if we get the chance. Guys, how long, I don't like stand up and say this so people maybe listen. How long we have to play Jenga and how much of that assignment we finish in class is up to you. If we get through today's lesson quickly and can start 1, 2, 8 and get through 1, 2, 8 quickly, we could start Jenga tomorrow, and then you could finish most of your closure here at school and have no homework for the weekend. That's my goal, right? So if we get through things efficiently, and that's also why we're not going to check the mastery together. By the way, if you don't have 1, 2, 7, get it off the back counter, but please check if you have it. I need to approve your cheat sheet by Friday, so you should probably make sure you know where it is, and you should be adding things to it if you want to. By Friday, I need to know if you have a cheat sheet that I have approved or if you do not, because I will not be here on Monday, so I need to leave notes for my friend who is subbing for me of whether or not you will have cheat sheets. Last week when I was gone, I didn't work it out quick enough to get Toph. My friend's name is Christopher, but he goes by Toph, but he can tell you whatever he wants you to call him. It'll probably be Mr. Lipel, or maybe he'll let you call him Toph. Who knows? Because it's a short version of Christopher. It's just not Chris, because Chris was kind of overused. So if you wanted to shorten Christopher, you could also shorten it to Toph. So let's check 1, 2, 6. Actually, real quick first, because I feel like then maybe he'll put it away. Made fresh just for you, because I love and care about you, on my YouTube. Are you going to work? Aha, the link works. On my YouTube and linked in our Schoology. Get out of here. That just fell apart. It was going to be all great if it just started playing. And it would have been like Inception, because I'm wearing the same thing that I was wearing. All right, so from our Schoology, just to show you, if you go to Schoology, did I embed it in the wrong page? Maybe I embedded it in the wrong page. Yeah, I know. So maybe it just didn't get in here yet. So I'll do it right now to make sure we do get it in here. You guys get a little view into the backside of Schoology. Actually, while I do that, let's check some homework. Then we'll come back to this. So here's your 1, 2, 6. The giant ones here, you're just figuring out what to multiply by. So if you didn't know what to multiply by, we divide to figure that out. Any questions on 114? Any questions on 114? All right, moving down. Oh, Sophie? For 1, 2, 6? I love the question. So especially for when I'm not here, if you're ever looking for homeworks that aren't like the current homework, they're going to be right here. And if they're not here, they end up in the binder once they're old. And the binder's just in order. So Sophie would come over here and look 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 6, and 7 looks like they're out. But if we want to look for extras, we can check the binder and see if there's any from last year.
Are they the same from last year?
Sometimes they get tweaked a little bit, but the questions are pretty much the same. So there's not, so I will print you one, or I'll give you mine. Like if I have mine in my binder still, I normally try to keep a blank copy. All right, so moving on to the next question while I get Sophie her copy. 115, we had to kind of edit the fractions a little bit to get to the common denominator. Guys, look at part B. And it's okay if you didn't quite answer it yet. But part B is asking, how do factors help us? Well, 4 is a factor of 8, which tells us, oh, I don't need to change 8. I can just change 4 to get up to the 8, and then we're done. Sophie, I'm going to have to print you one. It's all good, though. We can still do that right now. Any questions on 115? People should not be copying right now, by the way, Lonnie. probably the same. 7, 14, 21, 28, 8, 16. Yeah, it's the same thing. You got the same thing. You just went bigger than you needed to. So different way to get to Florida. Right? Have we talked about that in here? If we all head to Disney, we all might take different routes, but if we all get there, that's what matters.
It's okay that we have a signature by you.
Who, what?
Like, you put a signature.
Yeah, well, that's because you came and talked to me about the problem. Yeah, guys, if you come and work with me, sometimes I just say, okay, and now don't do this, and I just put, like, my initials on it. Because if we talk through a problem, you don't need to, like, do it again if we already talked through it. Sophie, if you would like to go get this, it should be coming out the printer on the right-hand side out in the family room. It's going to be 2 pages, though, because my computer won't print front back. Don't know why. It just doesn't. Mario at the Carnival. If there are 3 adults for every 10 total, right? Be careful when we're talking about fractions and totals and things like that. 3/10, meaning 3 adults for every 10 total. Really meaning 7 other, right? That got some of us on the mini mastery, but we'll talk about that in a moment when we have other things. And then 5/8, dolls versus total. Any questions there?
How do you get 24?
Where did I get 24? Oh, 24 not dolls. So if there were
Do you simplify it?
so if there were 4D dolls out of 64 total,
Oh, you count what wasn't there.
yeah, you do subtraction.
My
Right?
bad.
Thank you for asking. Guys, seriously, I'm not joking. The smartest people ask the most questions. If we make it all the way through reviewing homework and nobody asks anything, I know you're lying. I know at least somebody should have had a question because these homeworks are difficult. If we make it all the way through a homework without anyone asking a question, I really assume either you didn't do it, which is your choice. I mean, that's a bad choice, but we're all allowed to make bad choices. Or you're lying and you actually do have questions, but you don't trust me enough yet to ask them, which hurts my feelings, kind of. Like, I'm not joking. I am here to teach you math. That is my job.
This one I got stuck on the wall.
Yeah, so you could have made everything into fractions. You could have made everything into decimals. You could, but do something to make them all easier to relate to each other. So I decided to look at fractions. So 0.4 is 4/10. 1/2 is 5/10. So which is bigger, 4/10 or 5/10? 5/10. Right? So things like that. 5/8 over here. Which is bigger, 5/8 or 4/8? Well, 5/8. And if I think about pizza, 4/8. Well, that's a half. Yeah, Bethany?
I don't understand anything.
Say more.
So, I'm confused. What do you do after you order the number?
That's it. You order them from least to greatest.
But don't they all have to have a common denominator at the bottom?
Did it say we have to make them all
Well,
fractions?
then how do you make the order if you don't? If they're not all the same denominator? I don't get it.
Say more.
What?
Say more. Say more words. What don't you get? It's
Well, I
easy to
know
say
that
don't get it.
-2 is obviously the lowest one, and then 0. But the rest of them,
When I look at this number, and really this, and this, are any of those in fraction form right now?
no.
So do we have to work in fraction form
No.
here? So what could I do with my 5/3 to be able to compare it to 1.1?
You turn it into a decimal.
How could I turn it into a decimal? So you take your fraction,
I don't know how to do
5/3,
that on a calculator.
and
I
that's
forget.
why we review homework. A fraction is nothing but, what operation is this? Shout it out. It's division. So if we divide in a calculator and do 5 divided by 3, it even looks like it, right? 5/3, it comes out to be 1.66666 forever, which is really not fun to write, so we put the bar over it. 1.6 with the repetend. But which is bigger, 1.1 or 1.6? Well, 1.6. Which is bigger, 0.4? Well, obviously.
Which one? Wait.
5/8. Again, grab your calculator. Do 5 divided by 8. 0.625.
Oh, I just didn't.
Thank you.
Oh,
0.625 if we want to say it correctly.
I forgot.
Or really, we could say 625 thousandths if we want to say it correctly. Emery?
So instead of using my calculator and dividing, I took 5/3, times it by 4, so then I would get 12. And then I divided that 12 by 6. And then which got me like the denominator of 2. And then I took that 2 and times it by 5. And then I got 10. I still did the top number with all this.
Okay.
So then at the end I got like 0.25.
I need to look at what you did, but either way, this should for sure be over 1. Unless you're talking about like eighths. Guys, every 1/8 is 0.125. And then you could work it up from there. Every 1/8.
Yeah, because that's what I got. 0.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
I
wondering
got,
if that's what you're talking about.
0.25 on top of 10.
Oh, you're still in a fraction form. I
Yeah,
have to look at what you did.
and I didn't get that in the same order as you. I got like
I think there might be a
-2,
mistake.
0, and then
I'm trying to avoid saying I think you made a mistake, but
Yeah,
I think you made a
I know I
mistake.
did.
Like, let's just work together at some point.
I forgot how to do the fraction to the decimal.
On 118, we need common denominators, which you can use your multiplication table to do. If you are copying your homework right now, it's really obvious. Please stop. It's just disrespectful that you think I don't know what you're doing. It's obvious that your paper's blank and you never tried this ahead of time. If you're gonna copy, at least you have to go back and watch the YouTube video to do it. I'm not gonna stop you from doing that. It's dumb. You're shooting yourself in the foot. It's gonna bite you in the butt. But natural consequences, like, I've been up here for 10 years, 12 years really. I've learned, like, I can't change your behavior. I can only let you learn from your behavior. If you aren't doing your homeworks, you're making a bad choice. Sophia?
What's the NCD at the top?
Need common denominator.
Need?
Need common denominator.
What
Like,
was
we
your-
need a common denominator. So I show the work because I don't want to copy my multiplication table. So need common denominator, show my work, I found it, 24.
What was your
It's just my little coding.
for the third one? What was your final answer?
It's down. It's 10/24ths, or I can
Oh,
reduce
I
it
got-
to
I-
5/12ths.
I got 20 over 40.
That's the same thing.
And I got 1 and then 3/4 for the second one.
That's the 1 3/14ths.
No, I got 1 3/4.
Then there's
Yeah,
a
I got
mistake
14.
somewhere. I was about to
Yeah,
say
I got
that
1
denominator should be
14.
14.
I got that too.
Is that also the same?
Yes, as long as it's 20 over 48. Because, guys, we've talked about equivalent fractions. So, guys, you asking about 20 over 48,
I just didn't
that's
specify.
this fraction just times 2 on top and times 2 on bottom.
My teacher always
It's the
said
same
65.
thing. You just didn't reduce, which is okay. Because, I mean, the farthest out we can reduce is getting to 5/12ths.
Do you care if we don't reduce?
Did it say you had to?
Well,
Did it say you had to?
no.
Then no. Am I going to count the no? What I want you to do, I write out. If I don't write things out, if it's not in the directions, you don't have to do it. Matt, you okay back there? You look like you're having a hard time staying upright. Just worried about it. Make sure we're all drinking water. Guys, it's really easy as the weather cools down to get dehydrated. So now that I actually got everything where it should be, in Schoology, your mini mastery review is posted. Yeah, it's the answers. It's like Inception. It's me today
Inception.
in my shirt, but only 2 hours ago. So guys, I literally go through every single problem and talk through it. All right, so that is in Schoology. If you have anything that is not a mastery on your mastery, here are your directions for revisions. And even if you got a mastery, please look this over right now. So I'm going to stop talking so you can read. really, because we have so many different types of numbers, I would probably actually default to putting things into decimal form, which anytime we have a fraction.
What is fractions? I think that makes it harder for you to understand it.
I mean, it's harder for you to understand and do all the work. I mean, any of us, I don't mean you as in you, I mean any of us trying to do this problem, it is more difficult to try to convert like thirds and eighths and like halves and everything to a common denominator. It's easier to grab your calculator and say, what is 1/2? Okay, it's 0.5. What is 5/8? I can get everything in a decimal form and compare it that way. If you want to talk more, we can talk later. I have class to teach. Sorry, like I want to talk with you more, but I have class to teach. There are 20 other kids. So, Sam, where does your new work go?
It goes in the turn.
No, not according to what this page says. Come on, I mean, you're right. When you get it done, you'll put it in the turn-in bin. Come on, where's the new work go? But what? Staple what on the front? And revision should be done on. So, safe making sure, because you just got back. When you get a progressant, or if you are not finished on a test and need to finish or whatever, new work goes on a fresh piece of paper. Devin, you paying attention? Because if people miss these directions, like on month 1, it's a killer, like 3 months later when you're still doing it wrong. I will not regrade anything you put on the test paper I already graded. It's too confusing. I already marked stuff wrong. I already circled things in pen. If you go back and erase that, your new work looks like I marked it wrong. That's silly. Get graph paper. Most of the time you just get like a half sheet or a quarter sheet, right? Like you don't need to use a whole piece of graph paper. If it's really not much, grab a Post-it. But it has to be on new paper. Any questions about revisions has to be on new paper. Sophia, what do you do with the questions? It's in yellow. Did you read up here?
Yeah.
What do you do with the questions? That's in yellow. You give them a... It's not a hashtag.
You give them a number.
You number them. You don't just put random work randomly on your paper. You number your questions to correspond with what you missed and needed to revise. And then, like Sam tried to jump to, we then staple them and turn them back into the bin. You staple the revisions on the front, so your new grade is on the front, so that's the first thing you see when you get it back. Questions? Now we can put Eli. Yeah, so like the number on the test, yeah. So if it's like 3 and like a second part of it, you can just put 3. I mean, you can put like 3B even if it doesn't have a B, if you feel like it's like the second part. Sometimes like the A, B, C, D just looks bad on the test, so I take them off. And there's just like 2 or 3 different parts to a question. You know, you can guess A, B, and C. You can put away everything that is not 1.2.7. Like 1.2.7 is the only thing you need out now. So I'll give you a second to put those away. Yeah, and you can keep the cheat sheet out, yeah.
Wait, will you check if we wrote too much?
I mean, I'm going to check them probably on Friday, likely while we're doing closure. But I told you can put whatever you want. I just want to see what you guys put on them. And if you don't have a cheat sheet, I'm going to say this louder. If you don't have a cheat sheet Friday, you don't get one Monday. You have to prepare and plan and be ready, and I need to see it Friday. I actually might even collect. Yeah. Let's go ahead and say that. I'm collecting your cheat sheets Friday. That'll make life a whole lot easier for my guest teacher. I'm collecting cheat sheets Friday.
So we don't get to use them?
You will get them back on Monday when you are like taking your test.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm collecting cheat sheets Friday. Emerald.
Do we get to use our notes for the test?
No,
Okay.
only the cheat sheet. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
Great.
What's the cheat sheet? I don't remember.
It's the back of your name tent. Man, I appreciate you being honest, but I've talked about this multiple times. I'm going to hope that maybe you were out of the room during those conversations. Your name tent, or if you've lost it, get a piece of computer paper, half of it. You get half of it, just one side. Half of a piece of computer paper you can write anything you want on. But guys, we haven't covered that much content. There's not that much stuff that needs to go on a cheat sheet. And guys, if you're in the middle of a test and you forget the area formula, can you get up and walk back there and look at the area formula? Yes! Can you, if you see well enough and you sit up here, can you look up here and see the area formula? Yes! Like, stuff is around my room. That's why I'm saying you can use a cheat sheet. I don't really care what you put on the cheat sheet. I put everything on my walls.
So my old math teacher used to cover everything up.
Wow, that's silly. Use your resources. Now, by like May, hopefully it's in your brain. All right, we need to move on because we're running out of time super fast. We have some chores to do. But, well, come on. Chores are part of life. Get over it. I had to take my trash out last night. That's part of life. So, Thomas is helping out around the house. But to make the chores a little bit more interesting, they've designed this spinner. Interesting. It's not all filled in. I mean, the chores are filled in, but like the math of it isn't all filled in. I want you to talk with your team and try to figure out how could we fill in the rake leaves, do laundry, and clean bathroom. Now, I will tell you, this is cut in half, right? So that is a halfway line. And these are equal, and do laundry and rake leaves are equal, right? So if we can figure out what the whole space together is, if you can figure out this whole wedge, well, we know that they'll each split that evenly. So these are equal to each other. Bathroom and vacuum are equal to each other. Take like 90 seconds to a couple minutes. Try to see, can you figure out what fraction each of these sections would get?
So you need to use the job.
Might. Probably. You decide.
Okay, so
Half of it's filled.
okay, so that's 1/3 right there. Bathroom.
Yeah.
And
And clean, no,